The sky above the city of Kanara burned red with the light of twin suns, reflecting on the tall, translucent towers that shimmered like crystal. Captain Ethan Harper crouched behind a jagged piece of debris, his pulse racing. The air was filled with the sound of distant explosions, the whine of energy weapons, and the harsh cries of alien soldiers and invaders alike. Humans had only recently joined the Galactic Alliance, and the battle against the enemy forces was fierce. Ethan peered over the rubble. His human squad had been split up, and the Kanari forces were struggling to hold their positions. He clenched his fists, remembering his mission: protect the key leaders of the Kanari kingdom, no matter what. Among them was Princess Lysera, the young heir of this alien civilization. Suddenly, a massive section of one of the floating towers began to collapse. Ethan's eyes widened. He could see her Lysera, dressed in flowing, glowing robes, trapped beneath a beam. "Princess!" he shouted, sprinting forward. Energy blasts and falling debris rained down around him, but he moved with speed and precision, his training allowing him to dodge what could have easily killed him. Lysera looked at him with wide, terrified eyes. "Captain Harper," she cried, her voice trembling. I can't move." Ethan didn't hesitate. With sheer strength and careful coordination, he lifted the heavy beam just long enough for her to crawl free. Just as she scrambled to safety, an enemy soldier appeared, aiming a plasma rifle at her back. Without thinking, Ethan dove, pushing her aside, and deflected the blast with his armored shield. Sparks flew, and the weapon melted on contact. The princess collapsed to the ground, coughing and shaking. Her skin, naturally shimmering with the colors of the Kanari, now seemed dim and weak. Ethan knelt beside her. "Lysera, can you hear me?" Her eyes, normally radiant, flickered with pain. It burns inside me," she whispered. Ethan frowned. He had seen injuries before, but this was different. This was not a normal wound. Her veins glowed faintly with a strange blackish hue. "It's poison," she gasped. "The venom from the enemy's energy weapon? It spreads too fast." Ethan's mind raced. He knew that alien medicine could not cure this. Even the advanced healing devices of Kanara were ineffective against this toxin. But he remembered something from human medical science: blood transfusions could sometimes save a life if carefully matched. He turned to the princess. "I can try to help," he said firmly. "It's risky for both of us, but if I give you my blood, it might stabilize you." Lysera's lips trembled, but she nodded faintly. Commander Vorton, her loyal guard, arrived at that moment, his eyes narrowing. "Human, you cannot." "I have to," Ethan interrupted. "If we wait, she'll die." Vorton hesitated, then stepped back, recognizing the urgency in Ethan's eyes. With trembling hands, Ethan prepared the transfusion device, a combination of human and Kanari medical technology. He inserted a small tube into his arm, feeling the cool rush of his blood flow. Lysera's hand reached for his. "I trust you," she whispered as his blood entered her body. A strange warmth spread through both of them. Ethan felt an odd sensation, like a heartbeat that was not entirely his own. Lysera's breathing began to stabilize, and her color slowly returned, a faint glow emanating from her skin. But there was something more. The bond between them was immediate and undeniable. When she moved slightly, he felt it as if he had moved himself. When she shivered, he felt the chill. Pain and relief intertwined in an invisible connection neither fully understood. "You're alive," Lysera breathed, her glowing eyes locking onto his. I feel connected to you." Ethan shook his head. "It's the blood. Some kind of bond. I didn't expect this." But even as he spoke, he realized that the connection was more than physical. He could sense her thoughts, small fragments at first, like whispers in his mind. The battle outside raged on, but Ethan refused to leave her side. "We have to get to a safe place," he said, lifting her gently. They moved through the rubble, avoiding enemy patrols. Every time Lysera stumbled, Ethan felt it as if it were his own legs weakening. Finally, they reached a temporary command center, a safe zone where Qunari soldiers regrouped. Lysera collapsed onto a soft surface, exhausted but stable. Vorton knelt beside her, glaring at Ethan. "You risked too much, but she owes her life to you," he admitted reluctantly. Lysera turned to Ethan, her glowing eyes searching his. I cannot let you leave," she said softly. Ethan blinked. I have to return to my squad," he replied carefully. "I have a duty, Princess. They need me." "No," she said firmly. "You saved me. Now, I will not let you go. Until I am well again, you will stay by my side." Ethan felt the pull of the bond intensify, a strange tug at his chest. He had always valued freedom, but this connection was undeniable. He could feel her fear, her gratitude, and something deeper that he could not name. As night fell over the glowing city, the twin suns dipping below the horizon, Ethan watched the streets for threats, while Lysera rested. He could feel her heartbeat mingling with his own, a rhythm that made him both uneasy and strangely calm. Vorton approached him, lowering his voice. "Captain, I have served the Qunari for many years. I have never seen a bond like this. Whatever it is powerful, and it may change more than just her fate." Ethan nodded slowly, understanding the truth in the guard's words. The war was not over. The enemy still lurked, waiting for weakness. But now, he realized that he was not only a soldier, he was part of something larger, something that could affect the future of an entire civilization. Lysera stirred, her glowing eyes opening once more. "Captain, you hear me. Don't you feel it?" "I do," Ethan said quietly, his hand brushing hers. "I feel it, and I'll stay. For now." She smiled faintly, exhausted but relieved. "Then you will see the future with me, together." The night was quiet for the first time in hours, but the bond between them pulsed like a living thing. Ethan knew that the road ahead would be dangerous. Battles would come. Challenges beyond imagination awaited them. Yet, for the first time in his life, he realized that courage was not just about facing death. It was also about connection, trust, and the choice to stand beside someone who depended on you completely. And as the twin suns set completely, leaving the city bathed in starlight, Ethan Harper understood one undeniable truth: the life of Princess Lysera, and perhaps the fate of the Qunari kingdom, now rested in the hands of a human soldier. The sunless sky of Qunara was pierced by streaks of red and purple as dawn approached. The city, still recovering from the recent battle, hummed with quiet energy. Soldiers cleaned their weapons, engineers repaired damaged buildings, and medics tended to the wounded. In the midst of it all, Captain Ethan Harper stood beside Princess Lysera in the royal gardens. Their bond stronger than ever. Lysera had recovered physically, but the invisible thread between them, the blood bond, remained. Stronger and more mysterious than either fully understood. She often reached for him without thinking, her gestures guided by instinct. And he felt compelled to stay by her side, not out of duty alone, but because the connection had grown into something unspoken, profound. "You must teach me your ways, human," Lysera said one morning. Her glowing eyes focused on him as they walked among the floating crystal fountains. "Your soldiers are fearless, disciplined, clever. I need that knowledge." Ethan smiled, adjusting the strap of his gear. "I can teach you tactics, Princess, but bravery comes from the heart. That's something humans and apparently some aliens share naturally." She laughed softly, a sound that echoed like silver bells. Then perhaps the bond we share makes me brave. Their peace was short-lived. Word came from the outer city gates that the enemy had regrouped. Scouts reported new forces moving quickly, intent on striking the Canary capital again. Ethan immediately organized a strategy meeting with Lysera and her commanders. The enemy will strike from multiple directions, Ethan explained, tracing lines in the air with a hollow projection. We need to use both terrain and speed. Canary defenses are strong, but they underestimate human adaptability. Commander Vorton frowned, clearly torn between skepticism and admiration. Your strategies are unusual, but effective. Lysera nodded. Captain Harper's advice has already saved my life once. I trust his judgment completely. The next battle arrived faster than anyone expected. The enemy, now armed with faster ships and more advanced weapons, launched a surprise assault on the city's southern perimeter. Ethan, Lysera, and the Canary guards moved quickly, coordinating defense lines, setting traps, and using human ingenuity in combination with Canary technology. During the chaos, Lysera found herself targeted again. A massive energy cannon aimed directly at her hovering platform, threatening to tear her from the sky. Ethan felt the bond tug sharply, as if her fear and danger were being transmitted directly to him. Without hesitation, he leapt onto the platform beside her, deflecting a barrage of laser bolts with his shield. "You must trust me," Ethan shouted, diving as another blast grazed past them. Lysera, trembling but determined, followed his lead, her movements almost instinctively in sync with his own. The bond gave them an advantage. She could sense his intentions before he even acted. Together, they fought through the enemy forces, the princess no longer a passive figure but an active participant in the defense. She directed Canary soldiers, her confidence bolstered by Ethan's presence. Every movement, every decision, flowed naturally between them. Humans had adapted to alien technology, and the Canary began to see the value in combining their strengths. After the battle, the enemy retreated, their forces broken and morale shaken. Canary soldiers cheered for their leaders, but their admiration for Ethan was louder still. "A human saved our princess and our city," one soldier whispered, eyes wide with awe. "He is more than a warrior. He is a legend." Lysera turned to Ethan, her eyes bright with emotion. "You have done more than save me. You have changed our future. I cannot. I will not let you return to your people just yet. The bond we share is too important. You are part of Canary now." Ethan hesitated. He had never wanted to stay in one place for long. Duty called him to his squad, to humanity. But the bond was undeniable. He felt her heartbeat mingling with his, her thoughts and fears entwined with his own. He could not walk away, not without risking her safety or their connection. I understand, Princess," he said quietly. "If staying here helps you, helps your people, then I will stay. But I need to know, is this about gratitude or something more?" Lysera smiled softly. "It is both and neither. The bond we share is not just blood, it is life, trust, and the future. We are linked in ways we may not fully understand yet. But I promise this, as long as we face challenges together, we will both grow stronger." In the weeks that followed, Ethan trained alongside Lysera's forces, sharing human strategies and learning Canary techniques in return. The humans and aliens began working together seamlessly. The Canary had always been powerful, but the addition of human innovation and courage brought a new dimension to their defense. Ethan's presence alone inspired the soldiers. Seeing the human captain fight alongside their princess filled them with hope and determination. The political tension in the royal court, initially uneasy about a human so close to their princess, began to fade. Nobles witnessed Ethan's loyalty, his wisdom, and his bravery firsthand. Even the most skeptical began to accept that he was not merely an outsider, but a vital ally. One evening, atop the highest terrace of the floating palace, Ethan and Lysera stood side by side, overlooking the city. The twin suns had set, leaving the sky painted with streaks of purple and orange. "You saved my life," Lysera said softly, her glowing hand brushing against his. "And you have given humanity a place among the stars of Kanara. I am grateful beyond words." Ethan looked at her, feeling the pull of the bond stronger than ever. "I never expected to be part of an alien world," he admitted. "But now, I cannot imagine leaving it. Or leaving you." The stars began to emerge, glimmering over the city. For the first time since arriving, Ethan felt a sense of belonging, not just as a soldier, but as a partner, a protector, and a bridge between two civilizations. Lysera's eyes met his, full of quiet determination. "We have more battles ahead," she said. "The enemy will return, and new challenges will arise. But we will face them together. And with you by my side, we will be unstoppable." Ethan nodded. "Then we fight, not just as humans or Kenari, but as allies, as friends, as something stronger." The bond that had started with blood had grown into something deeper. Mutual trust, respect, and unspoken promise. Together, they could face any threat, overcome any obstacle, and redefine the relationship between their peoples. Humanity had once again proven its worth, not just through strength, but through courage, loyalty, and a willingness to reach across the stars. And as the night embraced the city, Ethan realized that he was no longer just a soldier far from home. He was part of a story larger than any battlefield, a story of connection, honor, and the triumph of life. Lysera rested her head lightly on his shoulder. "You belong here, Captain Harper," she whispered. "Not just to me, but to Kanara. Together, we will shape the future." Ethan's gaze swept over the city, the people, and the stars beyond. "Then let's make it a future worth fighting for," he said quietly. And for the first time, he felt not just pride, but purpose, an unbreakable bond between human and alien, warrior and princess, two worlds united by courage and heart. Above them, the twin suns began to rise again, signaling a new day filled with hope, challenges, and endless possibilities. And together, Ethan Harper and Princess Lysera faced it, unshakable, unafraid, and ready for whatever the galaxy had in store.